Hey Sky, how are you?
What's good? How
I
you doing?
am good, girl. It is Wednesday, April 26th. Man, I can't believe the month is over already.
I know it's already May. It's like summertime already.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if I would say summertime quite yet, but it looks lighter later, but I'm still waiting for the summer weather. So I just can't believe it is like it is time. So we are back Wednesday, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We will be here hosting whatever you want to talk about. Good evening, everyone who's joining in. Some people are just now joining in. You have your polyamory queens over here. We are ready to just, dive into some. Oh, I guess I was talking without my mic. I don't know how that sounded, but we shall see what difference it makes. Um, Tonight we will be talking about relationships in general.
Yes, let's talk about all of it.
Yeah, not just polyamorous relationship tonight. We want to include all the monogamous people tonight. We would like for you guys to call and chime in, ask questions, answer questions, give your point of views. We're here for it, and we will share the link
I'll
if
do it.
anybody wants to jump in. Okay,
I think you have to share
thank
it
you.
too because I think they post to the different pages.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, they post to my pages when I post it, and they post to your pages when you post it because we're
Uh,
sharing all over the world.
yes. Well, this is still a learning, uh, learning process because I am not very technology savvy. I'm not even very fond of all this craziness, but I understand we need it. With the world we live in now, if we want to be
Absolutely.
evolved, we have to catch up and you know get on with the time. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to see what people have to say. I don't know if you guys saw the subject for tonight, the topic for tonight. It is, why do you stay in a bad relationship? So I feel like we can't really answer the this question thoroughly without breaking it down too. What is a
Mm.
bad relationship? Because we
Ooh, ooh, that's you started right. You started right.
because we may all have different ideas of what relationships are. Let's start by that one. What is a relationship? Right?
Mm.
That's another question. I'm gonna write it down because my little ADD mind is not gonna stay on track. So, what is a relationship? And then what is what what makes a relationship bad, right?
Right.
Makes it bad. So I feel like in order for us to really talk about these things tonight, we have to be able to define what those two things are before we can put them in a sentence together. So, like we said tonight, it's not just about polyamory because, of course, we want to talk about other things. We are the polyamorous queens, but we want to talk about other things. How was your week?
Oh, I mean, it's not without challenges. But it's still an amazing life I live.
That's awesome.
I'm still blissfully happy and just, even when it's hard and it's challenging, I still, I still like have these like today. I locked my keys in the car and I was like, how the heck that has never happened to me.
Oh my God.
And
That's
I had to
happened to me once in my life.
And I had to just sit there and wait for the I was at the gym, ran into the gym to do the class, and as soon as I walk in, I'm like, my keys are in the car. Anyway, I took the class and then I had to wait for like roadside assistance to open the car for me.
Mm.
And one of the girls who was standing there, she said, "This is the universe telling you to sit still." I was like, yeah,
Mm,
guess
sometimes we
that's a
need
good
that reminder.
yeah, that's a good That's a good idea. I guess that's a good way to put it. And I literally came from the gym. Like this is me like running in, and I haven't changed. So
Yeah, it's been like a lazy evening. It's been just kind of tiring. It's been a long week already. Oh, it's funny because today I went and posted on Facebook, Happy Thursday. And somebody
uh-huh.
had to correct me. It is only Wednesday. And I'm like, what? Man, I was so
I didn't even
disappointed.
realize you were wrong. That's how crazy it is.
Right. I was so disappointed. I'm like, man, I was ready to get closer to the weekend. Not that I'm off really on the weekend, but for some reason, it's just the end of the week just brings me a little bit of joy, you know? So,
Exactly.
but hey, it is what it is. So I just kind of was like, all right, thanks for correcting me. And thank you for
That
reminding
is
me that we're not
that
there
is
yet. We're only
funny.
halfway there.
That is funny.
So I still left it on Facebook. I did not even correct it. I just kind of did an edit. So,
That is hilarious.
oh, yes. Hey, Nelly. He said days go by fast. They sure do. Because,
Yep.
like we said, it's already the end of April. I am just like, okay, I don't know if I've done anything that said I was going to do this year yet, but we shall see. So, should we dive in?
Yeah,
Like,
let's get it. Let's get
it's
it going.
already 9:07.
Yep.
All right, so the
I got
topic
some
again.
ideas.
Okay.
Well, I liked how you were starting off and trying to like get like a gist of what do you define as a relationship and what do you define as a bad relationship? And we also probably need to define what is a good relationship.
Right.
So, um I guess when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about romantic relationships because when someone says, "Why do you stay in a bad relationship?" I mean, I
Hmm.
guess it could also be pretty broad topic. Like people have friendships that are not good.
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
healthy. They're
On
abusive,
yeah.
lopsided.
So yeah, so I guess it could be any type of relationship, but we should specify what we're discussing tonight. I'm thinking romantically. Are you?
Yes, I am thinking romantic relationship.
So romantic relationships. And of course, I feel like coming from the polyamory perspective, that can be pretty broad as well. You
Hmm.
know, because a romantic relationship could be someone who you don't live with, who you don't see too often. And, you know, folks are like, huh, what are you talking about?
Right.
What do you mean? That doesn't follow our norm
People you don't have sex with.
there. Now, how could that be a bad relationship? Even how can that be a relationship or even a bad relationship if you're not even sleeping with them?
Hey, that's
Hmm.
another question we can try to answer too. Because you don't
Right.
have to have sex with somebody for it to be good or bad relationship, you know?
I think I almost can and I guess I'm coming from my own thoughts, but I think I can really um testify on what the difference is. And I
Mm-hmm.
know for me, it's very simple. It's based on how I feel, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if I know I'm in a bad relationship when I don't feel good.
Right. I mean,
Period.
and I think that's how people should gauge it too, because how many times internally we know it's not right? Our whole being is telling us this is not right. You know, that alarm is going off like crazy. But what do? We ignore it by trying to justify why it can be good, you know, or the good parts of it or whatever. Like we don't typically listen to our internal alarm, but even when we feel crappy about it, we don't really listen. So so yeah, let's define what is a relationship.
Um, I'm gonna go with a relationship is a connection I have with somebody that makes my heart burst with joy.
All right. All right.
Period.
And
Or that could
I
be,
would
is that
definitely,
right?
yeah, I mean, I would agree with it. And like you said, we're gonna focus on the romantic side of relationships because if we were to talk about the friendships as well, there's like too much to talk about. Maybe
Mm.
another day we'll talk about that. But yeah, to me, a relationship is the connection, right? Um, Now I have different partners, and I know one of them, to him, he sees a relationship as he has these obligations now. Once he starts calling something a relationship, he feels like he needs to be the man of the house, right? Paying the bills, taking care of this woman, doing
I
this,
like him
doing that.
already.
But no, like to me though, that's not all it is. Because honestly, if we're not even living together, you mean to tell me so we're not in a relationship just because we're not living together and you're not doing all those things for me? Because I don't necessarily need you to do all those things for me. So what is our connection?
I
So
was
we,
just thinking about this today,
yeah,
and it probably goes right in line with what a relationship is. And you tell me what you think, or anybody else out here who's listening, either jump on the call or put in the comments. But I almost think a relationship should be transactional. I'm saying that with a question mark,
right.
but it almost feels like I need you and you need me.
Right.
And you don't, do you think that? I tend to think
Yes, I mean, we should. It should be transactional, and I feel like actually it already is, even when we don't say it out loud, because I mean, really, when you think about it, it's usually a two-way street. That's why typically, if you give something, you expect something back, right? If I give you attention, I want a little bit back in return. If I'm cooking for you, I want you to wash the dishes. If you're paying the bills, then you're expecting a hot meal when you come home. It is transactional. We may not want to call it that, but all relationships are. And a lot of times, I think what we fail to do is negotiations. That's what we don't do in relationships because we weren't taught those kind of things.
here's someone, Nelly. Oh, I don't have that access. Can you post the comment?
Yeah, you should be able to. It says, oh, okay. I think, yeah. A relationship is connection and commitment between two people to have each other's back no matter what. Well, I will agree to a certain extent, Nelly.
Two
Like,
or more people.
yes, two or more people, and also no matter what. That no matter what does that mean? Like,
Yeah, what does no matter what mean?
because it can be unhealthy no matter what. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, like, you're gonna act stupid and go steal. You want me to have your back? Like, I'm not going to on that in that
Yeah,
one.
I'm not
You know what I'm
supporting
saying?
that.
Like, if you're trying to make stupid decisions, I will not have your back. Knowingly making stupid decisions, I will not have your back. That's
Me
when we're gonna
either.
be like,
Me
that's
either.
it.
I'm not in
Hey,
Marie.
Marie.
Yeah, no,
Right?
I'm not supporting foolishness. I'm done with that part of life.
Right. I'm not the ride or die for foolishness.
I am
I
not the
will.
ride or die. I'm not the ride or die. I'm not riding and or dying. Yeah, you can forget that. I'm not. I'll watch you though. I'll watch you ride and die, but I ain't riding and dying. I don't know what that means. It sounds
But
like you're on
yeah.
the back. It sounds like jump on the back of this motorcycle with no helmet on and yeah, and no shoes and no and I'm in a bathing suit. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Darian.
I actually did that.
See, we can't keep doing that. Darian said no matter what can keep you hanging in to a bad
Yeah.
relationship. True. So true, Darian. Let
Yeah.
me highlight it so we can show it. So true. But I definitely agree with part of your definition, Nelly. It's more like support. Yes, I will still go with that.
Uh-oh. Controversy.
So then y'all's love is conditional.
Mine is.
For the most part, it is.
It
Most
is.
loves are conditional. I mean, I can't say I do love somebody unconditionally, but most loves are conditional because if you're treating me like crap, do you think I'm gonna
Right.
still stay with you? That's a condition. You must not treat me like crap. It's a condition. Yes,
Absolutely.
love is
Absolutely.
conditional.
Absolutely.
You know that it's the same thing that which somebody just said it earlier. What was it? You know, it's the same thing as, you know, it can keep you hanging on to a bad relationship, you know, because you're trying to love unconditionally. Most of the time you have to have conditions. It's healthy to have conditions. That's how you negotiate certain terms in a relationship, because we're not all going to have all we want. So it should be conditional.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's romantic to say that, you know, love is unconditional. I feel like my son's dad, I do have unconditional love for him, but I'm not in a relationship with him anymore. So it means that the other conditions were where there's a disagreement in the conditions, so we're not in a relationship, but I still love him unconditionally.
Right.
The love
Yes.
is there's no condition on the love. The love is there.
Mm-hmm.
But the condition of me living with you and being involved with you and that don't have that's the conditional part. The love is
Right.
going to be there. We'll love till the end of time, but yeah,
Right.
no. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not going to be involved with you on a one-to-one day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
just because. Yeah, love
Right.
does not conquer all. Love is going to be there, but no, I'm not
You got to be rational.
yeah.
So, but
No.
yeah, so I guess we have to find what a relationship is: a
Martin
commitment
says
between
now
two
you're double
people.
talking. Okay.
um, what makes it bad? What makes a relationship good and what makes it bad?
Well, like I said before, for me, it's feeling bad. You know, when I
Mm-hmm.
get into a place where I'm not feeling, and it's not at this moment I'm feeling bad, so now my relationship is bad. It's like a continuous, I'm not feeling good about this. And one thing I am is a communicator. So I like to have conversations and I like to speak up. I usually speak up and say, I have a problem here. And, you know, things got to change, or, you know, I got to change, or you got to change, or we got to change, or something has to change
Mm-hmm.
because as it stands, I'm not feeling good.
Right.
That thing or that issue or that concern or what have you is not keeping me in bliss and joy. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I'm a little too fantasy about relationship, but I gotta be in a good feeling vibe most of the time. You know, it doesn't have to be a Disney show all day, but I feel like if folks aren't positive, like I was involved with someone who was always negative, always complaining, always had a problem with something or someone. And I just realized they were just I call them a negatron. And so I was like, I can't be involved with people who are just so pessimistic about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so much more positive about things. So
Yeah,
yeah, probably a no-go.
I agree. For me, a bad relationship, like from my personal experience, I started realizing that the relationship wasn't good for me. I am speaking from my point of view when I had my guards up so high and I was always on the defensive because I always felt like I was always being attacked and um not trusted, and so just lots of stuff. So there was no emotional connection, so at that point I felt like this is not a good thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, what makes it good?
The very opposite. Just feeling good and being able to communicate and be myself and
Having support.
support and just feeling good. Feeling good is a very strong indicator that I'm in a good relationship.
Right.
Period. Like I don't need to
Not
go.
just the NRE phase, right?
No,
More
like
like comfortable.
comfortable, feel good, like content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nelly said, bad relationship is where you can't trust your partner or partners. Yeah.
Then it's a trust is really
A good part of the foundation of a relationship.
yeah, and if you can't trust your partner or partners, I don't know if you really actually have a relationship, you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much, I mean, because you know, anyone who like being in a relationship, you're like vulnerable. You
Right.
know what I mean? And you're like, you know stuff about me that you could wreck my life with.
Right.
That's not cool. You know
Right.
what I mean? If I can't trust you, so yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I said, the moment that your guards is up so high because you can't trust that person, that they're gonna be in your best interest and all that. That definitely is not a good sign of good relationship. So now the big question that we asked: why do
Do
people
people
stay
stay?
in a bad
Oh,
relationship?
this is good. This is so many reasons why people stay. I think the simple, easy answers are, people stay in relationships because they have children. It's cheaper to keep her. People are in relationships. And a lot of people just like stay just because they're settled.
Mm-hmm.
Just the thought of, okay, now I got to move. Now I got to get out of this. Now I got to start over. Now I got to I've intertwined my whole life with this person or persons, and now it's ending. Uh, I mean, now the thought it's so bad, but it's so easy for me to just stay here and just be in my garbage bag of filth
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. No, no, no.
um.
I don't know
Yeah.
why people do that.
But I think at some point, most of us have done it at some point, right?
Oh
Where
yeah,
you kind of like, again, let's say married people, right? Most of the number one reason people will stay married a lot longer than they should have, right? Is, oh, I can't do that because of the kids. Now I'm talking marriage in the monogamous sense, right?
right.
Not necessarily a married polyamorous person. In the monogamous sense, it's always like, well, I can't do that because of the kids. I'm gonna wait till they get older. I'm gonna, there's always something. um so I just feel like,
I
again,
think I have.
marriage in the monogamous sense.
I think that there are people who stay in bad relationships because they're so hopeful that this motherfucker will turn around and get their whole life together. They're so hopeful. They're so infatuated and in love with this person. They're hoping that the vision that they have of this person, the thoughts that they think this person is,
Mm-hmm.
the they just hope that that person will get it together and like really wake the hell up because I'm
Change.
going to be gone soon if you don't get this memo.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not getting it, and so they'll stay hoping and not even hoping, praying
Mm-hmm.
that this person that they are in love with wakes up and smells the coffee and realizes I'm going to lose this person in my life if
Mm-hmm.
I don't like take note. You know what I
Right.
mean? Make it
Right.
better.
Right. So, and I think a lot of times too, people don't want the judgment that's going to be put on them, especially again, monogamously married people, because everybody sees a divorce as a failure. I remember after my divorce, I would like hashtag single. And I literally had this guy, he's an older guy. He messaged me, he's like, don't tell everybody that you single. And I'm like, why the hell not? Because I am single. I can't say that I'm single. He's like, oh, it's not a good look or whatever, he said. And I was like, well, with all due respect, sir, I'm not here for the good look. This is my life. And I can choose to advertise my status if I choose to, because I am not ashamed of being divorced or single or whatever. So a lot of times people don't want other people to judge them and be like, oh yeah, because I mean, whether you like it or not, it is looked down upon when you're divorced and everything. Even in the forms, you can't put that you're single. You have to put that you are divorced. And I'm like, what difference does it make? I'm single. You know.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's part of the marriage myth. And
right.
it's the myth that the marriage is the number one designation of being. And most, this is my opinion. I think most people are struggle in marriage. My
Mhm.
opinion. I got to keep saying that because I'm not
Yes.
using facts and scientific surveys. I'm just using people I know and many people who get divorced and many people who, one guy said to me, here's what marriage looks like, Sky. You're going to be content and okay most of the time. You're going to be, and it's probably going to be like 90% you're going to be content and okay. And 5% of that is going to be amazing. 5% is going to be absolute heaven. And
Okay.
another 5% is going to be horrible. It's going to be awful. It's going to be traumatizing. But most of the time being married is just okay. And that's what we go for. And I was like, do you hear yourself? You sound like you want to blow your head off of your body. Like there's nothing okay with just this okay, content, mediocre life. I am not
Right.
okay with that. That doesn't even
Exactly.
sound normal to me.
No,
Is
I mean
that okay?
nobody's saying that you're gonna be on cloud nine every single day, because
Okay.
as humans, we have feelings, we change, our minds change, our feelings change daily. Um, we get moody. So of course nobody's expecting you to be on cloud nine, but for you to tell me that it's gonna be 90% okay, I'm not okay with that.
Me
It
either.
is to be great 90% of the time. Okay.
Me,
So
I am not okay with that either. It should be, and it doesn't, like I said, yeah, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, like a circus every day. But
right.
there should be a lot of moments of joy, juiciness, bliss, a lot. Like I feel like a lot. Like it should be weekly.
Mm-hmm.
You should every week you should have like a juicy, joyful, blissful moment every week, you know?
Right.
I mean, the
Right.
fact that society says you need to work 5 days a week and rest too,
Mm-hmm.
and people fill everything else they want to do in life on the 2 days that they're off. People fill their life on the 2 days and their work for somebody else or something else on the
Mm-hmm.
5 days. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So you're living most of your life for somebody else. And on
Mm-hmm.
the 2 days you have off to rest, you're trying to fill in all of your fun, household, rest into, yeah, none of
Everything.
everything,
Everything. Yeah. So
everything. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like this planet is backwards. It needs to spin the other direction because I actually think we're living wrong.
how about, when they say, well, every relationship is hard. Marriage is supposed to be hard. And I'm just like, why is it supposed to be hard? Now, I'm not saying it should be easy peasy every single day, because as humans, we have hard days. But why does marriage itself has to be hard? Yes, I understand relating with somebody else, with other people, is typically an adjustment, right? You give and take, but why does marriage have to be hard? Why do we always have to work so hard on it to make it a success? I feel like at that point you are forcing it. You're not really working on it. You're
Well,
forcing things.
it goes back to my thoughts about the modern myth of marriage that makes you want to find some that like as soon as you are an adult, you got to go find a partner, marry them, and stay with them till death do you part, while you and them both transform into like five different people throughout your lifetime,
At
because
least.
you grow and you become something different, and you have different interests and what have you, and you're supposed to fight through that through
Right.
through thick or thin. I mean, they say, make it sound so torturous, through
Exactly.
sickness and health.
Right. I mean, I want to be there for somebody. I'm not the type to just leave you hanging just because times are bad, right? If you become ill, and I feel like that's also another great part of polyamory, right? I can have a sick partner being there for them, supporting them and helping them doing whatever I need to do. But guess what? He's not my only person that I depended on for things, whether it was household things, love, sex, all of it, right? That person cannot focus on me at that point because they have their own issues they're dealing with. That's when the other partners will fulfill those needs for you, right? So I don't mind through thick and thin, through sickness and health. But in monogamy, though, it's like that sickness and health. How many times they condemn a spouse for stepping out? Let's say your spouse is going through cancer, going through
I
chemotherapy,
was
right?
just thinking that. Hmm.
Typically, those people are off for at least a year. I've watched so many people go through that horrible thing, so now they expect the other spouse to all of a sudden not have any needs because your spouse is on hold. You should be on hold as well. I understand we're all trying to be considerate to our partners, right? But at the end of the day, I'm a human, right? Just like I need food, I need water, I need to bathe, I need to rest. Sex is part of everything I need as well. Why is it that I cannot get not even just sex, right? A cuddle buddy, somebody to confide in, especially going through a hard time. Because the person who's taking care of the sick one, nobody ever asks them, "How are you doing?" So they go through that whole ordeal alone and not have any support. Or if they do have support, a society condemns them because how dare you? Your wife or your husband is going through this, and all you can think of is doing this, doing that. So,
Hmm.
and like I said, I don't mind the sickness and health because we all want somebody that I want somebody to be there for me when I'm going through hard times. But I don't want you to feel like you're stuck and cannot live life just because I'm sick. I would want for you to still be happy and live life fully, even when I'm not healthy.
Are you familiar with B. Smith?
Hmm. I don't know who that is.
So she was considered the Black Martha Stewart, and
Mm-mm.
she had her own TV show, and she was doing like different like home decor and cooking and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And she disappeared one day, and then she walked off, and they come to find out she was going through like dementia.
Mm.
Um, anyway, later on, they found her or whatever. This is in New York. Later on, they found her. And then the next time I heard about her, there was like an article about her husband, who was her caretaker, who was now dating a white lady up in Long Island, and how the outrage in the community was so horrible because she had already passed, like she had dementia, but she was almost like, I mean, I remember when my grandmother had dementia, she didn't even remember who we were. Like she didn't even know who we were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so B. Smith got to that point, and her husband was making sure she was taken care of, but he had needs too.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read that, I was like, yeah, like I don't even think she knows what's going on, first of all. And even if she does, she's not interested
Being
in
physical with him
in
or
him in
anything.
any way.
Yes.
So, I mean, he basically essentially lost his wife, even though she's sitting right there, but she
Right.
doesn't even know who he is.
Have you ever seen The Notebook? I mean, it's kind of like a story like that, with what's his name? He's a cutie too. With Rachel McAdams and Josh Gosling, something.
The, the Notebook.
Yes, The Notebook. I mean, it's kind of a story like that. The wife was mentally gone, but the husband actually would come and kept reading to her. He was totally devoted, and because it's a love story, so they have to show that he was not interested in anybody else. but but the wife, even though she didn't recognize him most of the time, he was still there. Now you want somebody to be there for you like that, but at the same time, I think the monogamous mind is to, if your happiness is not coming from me, then you should not be happy. Point blank, period.
If you're what? Oh yeah, if your happiness is not coming from me, right?
Then you should not be happy.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and I wish they would start teaching people differently. Ryan, yes. Thank you,
Ryan
Kathleen.
Gosling, yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
I
Thank
looked it
you.
up.
Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. Hey, Leela. But yeah, one said because monogamous marriage doesn't work, it's just tolerated because monogamous people say you have to sacrifice your life for it to be successful. I hate every time. I feel like it's almost like bashing, but it's not really bashing. We're just putting to light because I was monogamously married for 10 years, and there's so much I was not
Me
allowed to
too.
do. So many people I was not allowed to talk to, and this and that. So and most of my guys, I'm very comfortable with men, and it was a little bit hard, not being able to having restrictions basically.
Well,
So
I think that's something that we should really just talk about openly because, I mean, we're not trying to bash monogamous marriage for folks who still want to do it. There, that industry is not going anywhere. I mean, weddings are a $1 billion industry.
hell
Weddings,
yeah.
catering. I'm actually going to one this weekend.
I love going to weddings.
Yeah, a friend of mine is getting married, and I asked her, "Girl, is this for real?"
Listen,
I
listen.
said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Because
I
I don't
have a
think
friend of mine who swears up wedding. He's like, I'm not going to any more weddings. I'm done. I'm done because I don't believe in it. And then most of those weddings don't even last a couple of years later, even if they last that long. It's dissolved and everything. So he's like, I'm done. I'm not gonna
Oh,
waste
I'm
my time.
going. I'm going to
I'm
all the
going.
weddings.
I love a good party, and
I'm
I
going
love
to
to
all
see
the weddings.
love.
I'm here for the food and the music. Okay.
Listen, I
Yes.
like I said before, I am pro union, I just don't like the government marriage. That's the one that I don't like.
That
But I'm
that
all for if you want to commit to each other and have a ceremony,
I love that.
profess your love in front of your friends, your family. Because I mean, when we love somebody, we're all proud and we want to show them off to the world. It's perfectly fine to want to do that. It's the stuff that comes behind it, but we have to also realize a lot of it comes with religion. Is because of religion, all that craziness is behind the marriage. So yep.
Yep. I agree. I agree. But I mean, I think people need to be realistic. I mean, I feel like in 2023, if you're getting married anytime soon, I really feel like the conversations you should be having with your partner is like, what happens if
Have
dot,
a contract. Have a
yeah, what
contract.
happens if I don't like you anymore,
Right. What do
or
we do?
we're not able to get along about things, and we're feeling differently, or suppose I find someone else attractive, or I
Or we
think
become not compatible anymore. Like, what do
yeah,
we do in those situations? Are you gonna hate me? Are you gonna be out to get me and destroy me?
right.
Like,
And I think Martin was talking about it earlier. He was in the chat, and he made a comment about loving conditionally and loving unconditionally. Like a lot of people they get married, right? And say you're with, I think this actually really happened. I'm almost positive I read this somewhere, but I don't exactly remember who it is. But some guy was one of those athletes, and he got the millions of dollar contract, right? And then got injured, and then spent his $90 million or whatever it was all the way up. Like there's $0 in the bank, and that wife was so gone.
Right,
She
right.
was like, honey, I married a million zillionaire. If you ain't a million zillionaire, you no more. We have nothing in common. She's
Exactly.
like,
We're no longer compatible because I have a lifestyle I have to maintain, right?
yeah, you are not the one. I thought you were the one, but you're not the one anymore. Your bank account says you're not the one. So let's
Listen,
be
I
real.
swear I know somebody like that, but I ain't gonna say anything because she ran really fast when she realized, oh, that's
Ouch.
not what I thought. I'm out.
I,
Deuces.
I actually know a woman who did that as well. And it was funny to hear the story, but she, and that's, part of that, men are providers thing. It becomes a trap because,
Right.
if you
You can't
throwing
provide
cash,
for me anymore.
you throwing cash out, if you throwing cash, for the unbelievable wallet, you know what I'm saying? And these women expect you to care, do their beauty routine and take them out to dinners and all this kind of stuff. And then it doesn't happen anymore. See, that's another thing. That's the reason. And I don't know why people stay in bad relationships, to be honest, because it doesn't make any sense when there's like 90 billion people on the planet. But
We're afraid to start over.
yeah, like
It's hard.
how do you look at this person and be like, you know what, we are not a match. We're not a
Hmm.
match. Let's just
Right.
take this straight to the garbage and burn it because like let's just keep this fire going because it's just not working. I mean, I think the reason why people stay in bad relationship is because they don't realize that they screwed up and they're
Right.
really afraid to like hurt someone's feelings.
Yes, that part.
Yeah, because it's really hard to say to someone, yeah, I thought you were something else and you're not.
Right.
That's
But
it's pretty scary.
also, can we normalize not, even if the romantic part of relationship doesn't work anymore, can we just remain friends? Like
That
if it wasn't an abusive relationship, and I have somebody tell me before there are exes for a reason. And I'm just like, that's just
I've
so
heard that.
stupid. And then I also because I was like, first of all, if you're friends with the person first, then you become romantic. It doesn't matter the order of things, but if
Mm.
you had a good friendship, right, the romantic part can't work. You can still remain friends because honestly, I don't think there's one single ex outside of somebody, outside of one person that I am not cool with. Now, it's
Mhm.
not like we're on the phone all the time talking, but I have no problem picking up the phone and calling them and say, hey, what's up? How's the family? And they do the same for me. Periodically, they call and check up on me, and I do the same. I have no issues with anybody. Just because we can't be romantic partners doesn't mean that we have to become sworn enemies. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that person was like, well, if you could make it work romantically, why would you think it would work as a friend? And I'm thinking, like, so when you have a house, you have the foundation. The foundation is the friendship.
Right.
The romantic is the second level.
That's
If the
right.
second level crumbles, it's fine because the foundation is still there. You don't need the second level, it's
Right.
extra. It's not
Absolutely.
necessary for the house to stay together.
It should be built upon friendship.
Exactly. But
Absolutely.
it's we could never see eye to eye on certain things. So it's like I don't understand how you don't see that friendship can go beyond the end of a romantic relationship. Like I said, I am a living proof of it. I am friends with my exes and we are cool. We don't hate each other. I can call any one of them and be like, hey, we could be on the phone for 2 hours, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it's no
I
issues at all.
I have this conversation with somebody about exes. I don't really use the term ex on anybody
Mm-hmm.
because I've had so many like just very light relationships where
Mm-hmm.
they don't get very deep maybe or what have
Right.
you, and we like circle around. And for example, like Jay, I don't
Mm-hmm.
consider him an ex because we didn't really
Right.
break up, you know what I
Right.
mean? We
Right.
just kind of
You
like
transitioned into
we
something else.
transition exactly. So I
Yeah.
can't really call that an
A
ex.
breakup. Yeah.
It wasn't a breakup. Like it was just a moving through and a moving forward,
Right.
changing. Yeah.
Changing
So I have
course for now.
yeah, I have a lot of those types of people around me that are just like we could have been involved, or maybe we never even got involved, but we were, or we there was a potential for it, or what have you. And
Right.
now and it became like, well, this is not going to be exactly what we were originally thinking it was going to be, so maybe we'll just do this,
Right.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, I have people that I was romantic, romantic with. God, I can't find my words tonight. But like you said, our relationships just transitioned into other things, and now we have the best of times as friends. No
Hmm.
grudges held, none of that.
Yeah.
But then you're telling me that it's not normal to be friends with somebody that you had history with. We all have history. Are you gonna ask me for every single person that you think I've dated? What if I lie about it? Because it's entirely up to me to tell you what it is. And why do we even have to go there? Because
Hmm.
everybody has history, unless, you started with me when I was like 12, 13 years old. I don't know how I'm not gonna have history. It's
Right.
I love to see, like, because I watch some single shows, and like some 40-year-olds will come on and be like, I want a man or a woman with no children. I don't want this. I don't want that. And I'm just like, how old
It's
are
not
you?
realistic.
22? I'm like, even people in their 20s now have children. Like,
Hmm.
how you gonna be 40-year-old and make all these demands? Like, but that's another story.
I just say small children.
Right.
That's what I say. I mean, and honestly, it doesn't even affect me because usually the children are with the mom, but
Hmm.
I don't really, I don't worry. I don't really worry about that. I have kids, so I'm gonna have kids, and they're
Yeah.
around me.
Yeah.
But
So
I just had a thought about the whole relationship thing. Just came to mind. Oh, I hate when that happens. It's gonna come back because I know it was the next thing I was gonna say about this. Um, yeah, it's coming
I would
back.
like to hear, what is somebody's worst relationship experience? I would like
Ooh.
to hear somebody share. If you want to come on, let's put the link in the thing again, just in case somebody wants to come on.
You don't have to show your face
You
either
don't
then.
have to show your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could just be on audio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Um,
the worst relationship experience, ooh, that is horrible. Horrible.
yeah, I can't say that I've had like a bad necessarily, because sometimes I consider myself inexperienced in some areas. I've only lived with one person, which was my ex-husband. So I feel like there are aspects of relationships, of the previous relationships, that I probably never got to see of those people. Because you know
Mhm.
how when you live with somebody, that's when you see who they truly are a lot of times.
Mm.
So I can't say that I've had like worst, I guess, with really bad relationships. It's just, whatever didn't work out, didn't work out. But
Mhm.
I know I've heard some stories, and I'm just like, how did you even stay there
I
that
think
long?
I think the hardest things for me to hear and even like support is domestic violence. I
Yes.
really have a hard time with women who go back to a
Yes.
man who is punching them upside their head and beating them down and just making them feel very inferior. I have a hard time. I have it's almost such a hard time. It's like disdain and I am so turned off by any woman who decides that she's going to be in a relationship. Not gonna be, stay in, because I think the day that your man or husband smacks you in the face, if you ain't packing everything you own and getting the hell out of there, I don't know what else you can do. Because there's
Like,
just no friggin' way on the planet that is
right.
necessary. Like I just can't even believe women And the little minor small comment in the back from, oh, men get beat up too. Sure, that too, whatever. I'm saying majority in the world, women get the hell beat out of them.
Yes.
And it comes from, I'm going to say that curse word again, patriarchal thought, where the man is the
The
king of the world.
breadwinner.
Yeah, and I'm all for the man being the king of the world. I love a king in a man. I am all for it. But you're not going to use your power to over stomp me down into the ground. That's just no way in the world.
Right. Well, I think so. From what I see, a lot of those women, they are not financially independent, right? Now, that's no reason, because I feel like my safety comes above all. If I have to sleep on the streets or ask a friend, let me crash on your couch, because I'm almost positive if I called somebody, I call a friend and say, my husband beat me up and I need to crash on your couch tonight until I figure out what to do tomorrow, I am 100% certain that that friend is not going to turn me down when they know my safety's on the line. You know what I'm saying? So, and I understand the uncertainty about what am I going to do for money, because this whole time this person was supporting me. I got no job, no skills, no nothing. One movie that always, I love that movie just because of the life lesson in it. It's called Hope Floats with Sandra Bullock and Connick Jr. And
Gary
it's,
Connick
yeah,
Jr.
yes.
Hope Float.
Hope Floats. Yes, I love that movie to death. So I feel like, because and I know people now. Again, I grew up in an abusive home, as far as the parents fighting, and I saw it in my neighborhood. I remember this young girl. She was drop dead gorgeous. Her name was Marie, and she had this boyfriend who was a cop, and he beat the crap out of her at least once a week. And when he did it, he made a spectacle out of it. He dragged her to the streets for everybody in the neighborhood to see that he has that power over her. And the worst part was, she had two older brothers who were probably 6'3", 6'4". They let this man beat up their sister every time. Like, so for me, domestic violence, it's such a touchy subject. Like, I get angry, I get aggravated whenever I see somebody doing that. And then whenever I see a woman going back, again, I understand people are like, financially, they can't do this, they can't do that. But your safety has to be more important than everything else. And I know somebody very close to me who was in an abusive relationship. By the time we realized what was happening, she was denying it. And we're like, no, no, no. The signs show what we see. And you need to call the police, because what we saw was just like a beating that just happened. And so finally, we had the guy arrested. Guess who bailed him out? She did. And he came back to her house. So we were all like, all right, we are done.
Done.
If you're making that choice, you are happy with it, and there's nothing we can do about it. Until this day, she's with him. She swears that he's changed. I hope so for her. But I could never find it in my heart to even forgive you for raising your hand, putting your hands on me, yet alone sleep with you in the same bed. I would not be able to trust you, because I would think that you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and choke me or kill me, something. I would never be able to trust you again if you hurt me once like that. But somehow some people can and have, allowed that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's no bueno.
Yeah.
What about, since we've been talking about monogamy a lot, which is out of the ordinary. What about
Hmm.
people who stay in bad poly relationships?
Whew, that's another thing because people think because they're in poly relationship they have to accept everything, right?
That's that right there. That
It's
right there.
like being open and transparent doesn't mean you have to accept crap from people either, you know. And I think it's the same thing as well. People don't want to be seen because they, first of all, everybody thinks polyamory is dysfunctional, right? The people who don't know. So somebody breaking up with somebody or leaving a bad relationship, they're gonna think like, oh, this person's gonna think it's because I'm polyamorous because they were saying polyamory is not gonna work out anyway. So they stay longer than they should have. So that's my opinion on it. I don't think I don't care whether it's a monogamous or non-monogamous relationship. You should never stay for a bad relationship.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Well, I think in poly, the screw ups that I've seen and experienced is, and this is something that is taken me a while to figure out. I think with polyamory, and this is not the right way to do it, of course. Since you have multiple people in your life, you tend to take less in a person because you're getting other things from other people.
right,
And that's not good because you're lowering your standards of what you feel is right for you because you either the word tolerate or accept people's shortcomings.
I guess
I
I
guess
could see it that way.
I guess not.
I don't know. I think there are sometimes though there are some clear signs that tells you, oh, this is not a good situation, as opposed to, this person can only give me this thing at this season in his life. I feel like there's a difference
Hmm.
not getting certain things. I'm not saying it's necessarily lowering your standard because you're getting it somewhere else. It's just I meet people where they are. But if that meet is still not feeling right, then I'm out.
Hmm.
So I am a big advocate of meet me where I am or I'll meet you where you are because we're not we're not at our best every single day. And I would want somebody to show me some grace when I'm at my lowest,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's one of those days. It's one of those days. I feel very gross today. I just came from the gym, so I'm looking and feeling gymish.
All
Gymish.
right.
So
Okay, so I guess
my
well, it's
magic,
been actually an hour. Time is just flying by.
yeah,
So
this was
let
good.
us know. Let us know what you think. Send us some requests for topics you would like for us to discuss. Share your experiences with us. Follow our pages. We did say we were going to merge some pages, but we haven't done that yet. But for now,
Busy.
I know we are busy people. I'm like, how are we even
Yeah,
doing
I
this
know. I know what
podcast?
it is. It's like both of us work physically. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's not like we're just sitting in front of a laptop all
Right.
day being like, oh, let me just open this page over here and figure out some
Hmm.
other some podcasting stuff. I mean, I my time on a computer is very limited. You know
Me
what I mean?
too. Because I mean, the
Yeah.
work that I do, I have to give my undivided attention to my clients as I'm working on them. So that's the majority of my day. Some days I don't even really get on social media or get on my phone for anything like that. It's more like, hey, let me see if I can return this call while I'm in the car. If you don't catch me in the car, chances are you're not going to catch me at all until the next day. But we are trying. It is definitely challenging, but we love this. So follow our pages, Polly Haitian Hottie on YouTube, subscribe and follow on IG and then Facebook. Meet Me to Charles, and also my music page. Oh, let me do a
You need to
plug
put
real
it. You need
quick.
to just put it all in the chat because ain't nobody gonna understand what that is.
I know. I'm like, let me put this real quick. Well, I don't have the picture.
I'll
Maybe
put my
next week I do it.
IG.
Yes.
I don't.
Next. Oh yeah, okay. Next Saturday, guys, if you've never seen me perform with my full band Essence Creole, we will be at Cat's Cafe um on Saturday, May 6th from 6:30 till 8 o'clock. 6:30 till 8 o'clock. It's a quick show, very intimate. Bring a friend, bring a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whomever you want to bring. Just make sure you come support us. It's Haitian music, just a chill vibe. We're just gonna be in the ballad, mellow kind of vibe. So come enjoy it with us. And thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will see you next Wednesday. You have something to say, Sky?
Oh, someone threw a question in there, Rudy. He threw a
Oh,
question in there
Rudy.
pretty at the very, very, very end.
Rudy, we missed you last week. We love when you ask us a lot of questions. I wonder if you get like heat for asking a lot of questions about poly. What my question to you before I answer yours, my question to you, are you poly or are you interested in poly? But yes, what is your ultimate goal by bringing poly to your community? So for me, bringing it to my Haitian communities, like I said, everything is taboo in our community. Even breathing is taboo.
Oh wow.
So I want to have a conversation with my people. I don't want to say educate, but in a sense, yes, educate people that there are alternative lifestyle out there. Because even now, people still Haitian people, Caribbean people still don't accept that there are gay people in this world, or they don't
Mm.
respect them, so that's another big taboo. So polyamory is even worse because, again, I grew up watching people being
Cheated on.
messy. That's what we're gonna call it. Having different families, but it was always on the men's side. The woman was not allowed to do anything. Women could not even talk to other men, not just a friendly "good morning, how are you today, neighbor." They would get beat up by their husbands for that.
Wow.
Right. So this is the reason why I decided I want to have the poly conversation with my community so they know uh, women are not just whores,
Ragdolls.
for wanting to have multiple relationships, because it's been happening since the earth existed. It just never benefited the women. So yes, that's my ultimate goal, to educate my people on alternative lifestyles, and also to have tolerance for something that you may not see for yourself, but you can understand and respect somebody else's life. That's all.
I can dig it. I will answer that slightly differently. My ultimate goal to bring polyamory to my community, I would say my community is going to be represented by Black American more so than Black Caribbean, to be honest. Even though I can swing through both parades, but I just see a lot of. I have majority of my women friends are single and they are looking for a one husband situation.
Mr.
And
Right.
I really think that they are really missing out on this juicy life that I'm living. And they always say they live vicariously through me. But I'm just like, how come you don't get with the program? Because when they date, they'll date three guys at the same time because they're vetting them, right? And then they have to pick one. But
Mhm.
my thing is, why don't you just keep them all? Like, what is the problem here? You know what I mean?
If
But
they turn out to be good matches.
it could, yeah, and my whole thing is, I really think a lot. Like we had the girls on last week talking about monogamy and stuff like that. I just really think that monogamy is like I mean, it's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and you just like see a Snickers bar at the checkout, but then there's also
The
like
Kit Kat.
a Reese's peanut butter cup, and and you're like, why do I have to pick one? Because you
Why
can
can
take
I have them all?
yeah, you can take a piece of the Snickers. I like to keep them in the fridge so they're cold, and you could just cut a piece off of one tonight, and you can have some of the what's the bar that's like the square is a perfect square.
I don't know.
Anybody? Anyway, whatever it's called. That's one of my
Klondike bar.
no, it's a fruit and nut something. But anyway, you could take a little piece of square off of that. You could take a Reese's peanut butter cup on Friday. You know what I mean? Like, why are we limiting ourselves when you can? And you see, I know how nasty people are. They just go right to sex. That's what
I know,
exactly.
right?
I'm not even talking about that.
The
I am not.
energy of
I
people.
swear to God, I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is, you can enjoy somebody and you can enjoy everybody, or you can enjoy as many people as you have time for, because time is going to be your biggest factor.
Yes.
And really that's the juice and the bliss. And I just think I wish more people were open to that, because it's better. I'm just going to say it. It's better. I ain't got
It's more
time.
evolved, right? Huh?
It's more evolved and it's better. I mean, you have to be a great communicator. You have to put your little feelings on the violin outside, and get with this program.
And face your insecurities too. I
Face
think
it.
that's the
Oh,
part that people hide from. They're like, I'm not ready to face my insecurities, so
yeah.
I am not even gonna consider even having a conversation about being non-monogamous.
Oh my gosh. I love talking to men about polyamory, because they are so they can't get past the first base. They just can't handle it. They're like, "What do you mean you do what? You mean two guys? How what?"
How
And
about when they think you're always having threesomes?
they just think it's an orgy every day, and I'm just like, "Gosh, I'm so boring if you think that's what's going on. I'm so tired." Yeah, no.
Very vanilla most of the time.
Most 99.9%. So but anyway, my people, my friends out here in the universe, we got more to talk about. So please, if you are watching from YouTube, then click notify me and subscribe so you can see it pop up when it comes in. It be reminding you, because I be trying to send notes out to folks, but
Yes,
it's hard.
it is.
And it's you and I like getting a notification at the moment, because if I'm
Right.
available, I'll watch it. If you tell me like 3 days before that I'm not gonna remember. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's too much going on.
Yes.
But anyway, we got another. What happens if and when you are ready to move in with someone? How does poly work? What happens if and when you are ready to move in with someone? You mean if you're poly and you live with somebody, how does your other partners deal?
I think I'm going to go ahead first, or do you want to answer first?
Go ahead.
No, I think every couple or every dynamic is different. You're just going to have to talk openly with your partner and negotiate what is
okay for you.
If you guys, yeah, what's okay with you, but you have to be reasonable. What your boundaries are, because some people, their boundaries may be, you can bring somebody home, but you cannot sleep in our bed with them. You have to go to the guest room. Some people, their boundary is you cannot bring any partners in the house. You have to go somewhere else with them. So it's going to depend on what you guys agree on, because at the end of the day, the relationship is between you and that person. You can negotiate what you feel like will work for both of you.
So for me, and I'm not going to speak for me. I'm just going to speak for things I've seen. Let's put it that way. Is yes, you're right. There are different dynamics, but when you live with someone, here's a point with like men specifically, and as much poly as you can get a man to encompass into his life, men still want to feel like the king. And I find
Of the
that
palace.
of the palace, right? So if you have a male, if you're a woman and have a male partner, or this, I think it could apply to gay people as well, but I'm going from
Mm-hmm.
this perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a woman and you live with a man and you have another male partner, it is pretty, I would consider it very difficult to have your other male partner come over and stay with you, because if you're going to have a loving relationship, you got to do sleepovers, you got to have I call them slumber parties.
Mm-hmm.
um so if you have a husband or boyfriend or what have you who you live with, but you have another partner, you almost want to hope that your other partner lives by himself. A lot of folks do Airbnbs or hotels so that they can have their private time. Another thing that they do is, like, say you have a couple that live together, both of them have other partners, right? This actually happened to me. Both of us had other partners, and we would always go out to visit other partners, right? To the fact where the house was empty. And so in my mind, I'm like, why are we both going out when the house is empty? Because we didn't want to bring anyone home. So we're both going out, the house is empty. I'm like, why don't we arrange something where if you go out to see what's her name, then I can bring over what's his name because you're not even here. So that way there's no like weird vibes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People feel
Right.
uncomfortable when another man is here. And sometimes people do feel that way, and that's just evolution and being evolved and what have you. And then we did that for a while and it worked until one time his date fell through and he came home early, and and it was still cool. So it worked out. But what I'm just saying is it just depends on the dynamic. It really depends on what matters to people. I think what's his name who was on here a couple weeks ago?
Oh,
Poly couple.
Raheem.
Yeah. He said that remember I asked him about like spending the night out, and
Mm-hmm.
like when you first jump into poly, like I remember talking to this guy who was married and they're doing poly, like
Right.
the new poly, like, oh, me and my wife decided that we're gonna do
Have a
poly.
poly relationship.
Yeah, I don't like folks like that. That's too virgin poly for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, my first question is always, well, can you spend the night out? Like, can you sleep overnight with another woman, not your
Mm-hmm.
wife? And when she don't call you all night long asking what the hell you're doing, like these are real questions I ask because I've already seen that. And when they say, well, no, I can only stay out, like I have a curfew and all this type of high school crap, I'm like, you know what? You need to go experiment with polyamory with somebody else. I'm Sky the poly pimp. You don't.
I love that name. I love it. Like, how did you
Yeah,
even come up with that?
I don't know, but that's how I feel right now. Don't come with no new virgin poly shit with me because I'm like, yeah, if you can't tell your wife that I am going out with Sky overnight and you won't see me till I come back from home the next day, do not fucking call me. Like I am not here for that shit because I just don't want. I've tried too many times to like date people who are not fully polyamorous,
Mm-hmm.
and it kills me every time. It's such an emotional roller coaster because you really fall into like a like or love with them, and it's like they really don't get the memo. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And you can't really like open your heart to someone who can't fully open their heart to you. Like you want someone is as many, if you have 999 partners, if you come and talk to me, be ready to fall for me 100%. If you can only give me a 10% of your heart, it's not good. It's not gonna be pretty on the other side. So I hope that answered your question, TT.
TT said, "How does it work when you want to move in with someone, but you are poly and or in multiple relationships?" I mean, I think a lot of people don't
Mhm.
necessarily want to move in together, but if you still have your multiple relationships, whomever you decide you want to move in with, you just move in with them if they feel the same way about it. I don't think there's any issues in that. Like, let's say I am with Jack, Johnny, Joey, right? I'm just picking
Jay.
up names. Or Jay, right? So Johnny decided he wants to move in with me and I feel the same way. I move in with Johnny. That's it.
No,
But
no,
that
no.
doesn't
It's
mean I
not
have
that
to.
easy. It's
No, no,
not
I'm
that
saying
easy.
like I don't have to end my other relationships though.
Well, what happens is when you do that type of thing, the other guys are going to feel some sort of way
But if
because
they
your
never
paradigm has
ask,
now your situation has transformed, and now you have your own place, and they can come over anytime they want. But now you're living with a guy that's going to cause, it's still the same, the same sensibilities are going to happen. They're not going to be like, it's so cool and awesome you're now living with Jay something. You know
right?
what I'm
But
saying?
if you've never asked me to move in with you, how can you be offended that I'm moving in with Johnny? I can still come over to your place and spend the night and spend a couple of days whenever we need to do that. That's fine if that's what you want. But if I am the type that wants to move in with a partner, but you could never give me that, like, I don't see the issue here. I mean, personally, I don't plan on moving in with anybody. But if that's what I want and the other partner wants that, but you don't want that, like, why wouldn't you want me to be happy and get what I want?
Well, I mean, I agree with that.
You
I agree
know?
with that.
Because that doesn't mean I have to end anything with you. I can still come over. I can spend a night. I can spend a couple of days. I can spend a weekend. Whatever we used to do doesn't necessarily have to change. Now, maybe I have a little bit more commitment because financially, if I'm moving with somebody, we are entangled financially on some level. Because
Are you?
now, I mean, half of my rent is gonna depend on you, or you gonna
Oh,
pay the whole rent and all that stuff, the light bills, the gas, all of that. I mean, technically, we are entangled financially, whether we like it or not, if we're living
mm,
together. Now,
mm.
other entanglements, I don't know. It's gonna depend on you and that partner, but I don't feel like anything necessarily has to change. But of course, some people are gonna get their feelings a little bit roughed up, kind of like, oh, I don't know about that, whatever. So it depends on the dynamic. If they have kitchen table poly, I don't think that's an issue, really.
I think people should focus on making as much money as they can, and everyone have their own castle, because the truth is a lot of times people live together because they're trying to save money, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
that's smart in essence,
Right,
but you put yourself in situations you don't necessarily want to be in
right.
because of that's part of the whole stay in a bad relationship conversation from the beginning. People stay in bad relationships because financially they can't afford to move. They can't afford to get out of it. They
Especially nowadays.
depend they depend on that other bad
Yes.
relationship person to offer financial support,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they stay, and that's another reason why. And
Mm-hmm.
so, folks need to work on their abundance
Yeah.
and live how they want to live and be free, because then you're free, and people can come and go in your life, in your home, what have you, but you don't have to worry about, well, I need that person because I'm trying to save $1,000 on my monthly bill.
Right.
Make $1,000 more and keep it going. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to be abused by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just
I
my
agree. I agree.
anyway, y'all. I think we are done here today because I got to get ready for tomorrow. So
Me too.
yeah,
It was nice talking with you guys, and as always, continue to support, and we can only get bigger if you keep supporting us. And
yeah. Send it to your
our
friends.
goal, yes, our goal is to get bigger and spread the word with even more communities, not just ours. We want everybody to know about the word. So
Right.
you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. because we are here every Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Hooty hoo.
Bye
All right,
bye.
y'all. Have a good evening. Peace.
Bye.